You know, how we listen to, what we listen to has changed a lot over the years since audio recording was even invented.
Oh yeah, it seems like it's changing every day, and there are literally dozens of ways that modern man has employed to record sounds. According to a Wikipedia timeline of audio formats, some of the most notable landmarks in recording history are the invention of the phonographic cylinders in 1877, the electrical cut records in 1925 that were mostly 78 RPM, and the first magnetic tape came in the 1930s.
Okay, it was in 1948. The vinyl records were introduced, both the 33 1/3 RPM album and the smaller 45 RPM single. The very first attempt at the cassette tape was made in 1958. And who could forget the 8-track tape introduced to consumers in 1965?
And moving right on down through history, in 1971, the quadraphonic vinyl record hit the market. The compact disc was invented in 1982, and then MPEG 2 Audio Layer 3, or MP3, was invented in 1995.
And that's just a few of the technologies that have come into being since 1877. So, here we are, 2014. And guess what audio recording technology is coming into great popularity? Vinyl again. Vinyl record sales are up this year 33% from last year, and the vinyl comeback is attracting more and more younger listeners.
Vinyl record sales keep growing, and music lovers like Regan Fields say this is the way music ought to be heard.
The fact that, that's how the original people listened to it, and that's the way it was meant to be listened to.
Fields grew up listening to records with his family, and his love for the sound of vinyl has stuck with him until today, when he's a sophomore in college.
Get to feel like you're in the studio with him, because that's basically exactly what it sounded like. Some older albums, they didn't have tracks and stuff, so it was one recording, one take. And, that's the record that you got.
Fields says he's getting more for his money when he purchases a new record from bands like Mumford & Sons and Daft Punk. They typically cost anywhere between $10 and $20 and include artwork and a digital download along with the record.
Every time there's like a little speck of dust, you can hear it.
A lot more fun to read a record than try to download something, because you have no art, you have nothing. You actually have a physical product that sounds beautiful.
Ralph's record store employee Doug Stapp says it's not so much the older crowd going back to buying vinyl records, but young people getting into records.
Hope it goes and goes. I hope people still love them, embrace it, because the artwork is beautiful.
To get them back out and enjoy it, because it's definitely worth it.
Now, there are a few record stores still around. You might find it a little easier to find vinyl at a pawn shop near you. And I guess we're talking pawn shops. Pawn shop wouldn't be a bad idea, because if you're going to buy a record, you're going to buy vinyl, you're going to have a record player.
Well,
I don't have one of those at home.
We do, and that's how my son
really?
became a Beatles fan, listening to his dad's old records. So,
wow.
Well, something else you'll find at a pawn shop, old books, yeah. But how about some old stories from a new book? An 86-year-old woman has done something most others her age haven't. She's published her first novel, a romance novel, and she says it's steamy.
The days were passing slowly.
She's a wife,
There was plenty for Gloria to do.
mother,
She raced through her chores.
great-great-grandmother,
Today was Saturday.
and now, at the age of 86, an author.
Tomorrow would be the big day.
Georgia Garen is reading part of her new romance novel, No Goodbye, written under her pen name, Georgie Marie.
Well, it took me 5 years to write it.
It is quite an accomplishment.
But readers beware, this is not the innocent love story you might expect. It's full of, well,
Steaminess is what she calls it.
It's about a bored housewife, and she listens to talk radio. And that voice on the radio, oh, he had a magic voice, and it just turned her on. Gloria never told Dr. Ben that just hearing his voice made her legs go weak and quiver.
Sometimes like, Mother, how could you do that? How can you write that? But she did. At her age, to really follow through. Follow through is really important, and she's done it.
but the big question for many who know Georgia, how much of this scandalous story is true?
I keep telling people it's all fiction.
It is, but a lot of it is actually real life. I mean, we know who she's talking about.
And Georgia hopes others will discover the characters' stories and the surprising ending she spent years creating.
I think they better read it to find out.
Oh my. Georgia says people are asking when she'll write her next book. For now, she says, we'll have to wait and see. Georgia's book came out in February, but you won't find it in any bookstores just yet. It is available on Kindle and on Amazon. Oh boy.
Wow. Well, from reading to watching, a lot of us are going to have our eyes glued to the game for the next few months. It is the start of football season, and up next we get an early look at the Ravens, the Redskins, and the Eagles for this season.
And later, when they're not on TV, they're watching it, rooting for their favorite football team. We'll hear from some of your favorite CBS stars on their most memorable NFL moments. Delmarva Live. We'll be right back.